A teenager finished a soccer game by strolling down to the beach and dipping his toes in the water. Something stuck to him, so he brushed it off. He was sent to the emergency room immediately. After that, the physicians announced the news. Sam Kanize was just 16 years old when he received the shock of his life. The teen went wading off to the beach to cool off after finishing a soccer match in Melbourne, Australia, only to leave the water and soon realize that his legs were dripping with blood. The Sydney Morning Herald reported that unbelievably mysterious sea creatures had tried to eat the boy alive. After being knee-deep in the ocean at Dendy Street Beach in Brighton, Sam felt something but didn't think much of it. First, there was tingling around his feet. Soon, he looked down to see blood everywhere. "I wasn't thinking about being eaten," Sam said, recalling the odd sensation he had experienced and ignored. "I walked out of the water, saw what I thought was sand covering my ankles and lower calf, so I shook it off violently and it came off." As he went to fetch his belongings, he noticed blood dripping down his ankles and feet. It was a shock, a random thing to see. He didn't know what to think of it. Unable to stop the bleeding, Jared Kanize rushed his son to the hospital, where doctors were just as baffled about the boy's condition as Sam and his father were. "My dad gave me this funny stare, and I gave him a stare because we both just had no clue what was going on," Sam said. 18 hours later, while still in the hospital, Sam's legs continued to ooze blood, and doctors were stumped as to the cause. The teen was bitten repeatedly by tiny sea creatures trying to eat him alive. Doctors were perplexed as to the exact culprit. At first, experts thought it might be sea lice eating the teen's legs while wading in the water. However, the theory is a stretch, since sea lice usually only leave a tiny rash and don't cause bleeding. Wanting to get to the bottom of things, Sam's dad headed to the beach to do his investigation. Armed with some meat and a pool net, it wasn't long before he had what he needed. Hordes of critters rushed to devour the meat, allowing Jared to take videos of the creatures and capture some of them so he could show the doctors precisely what had damaged his son. According to Alistair Poor, associate professor at the University of New South Wales, what Jared captured wasn't sea lice. He said they instead looked like amphipods. But this did little to solve Sam's mystery, since Poor noted that amphipods aren't known for biting humans, so he doesn't believe that these were the same creatures that bit Sam. "You can attract a lot of animals in the sea with raw meat," Dr. Poor explained. "Even though it's interesting, it doesn't prove to me they were the ones that bit his legs." Poor still thinks that sea lice caused Sam's injuries, even though he believes Jarrett caught amphipods with his meat-filled pool net. However, there's no way to tell at this point. Although Sam is expected to make a full recovery, his parents still wanted to come forward with his unusual case, which eventually drew worldwide attention. Although they'd love to have answers about what injured their son, there's more to their sharing their story. "I'd hate to see anyone else going through this. If we can prevent it for anyone else, that's the aim of talking to people," Jane Kanize, Sam's mother, explained while at her son's hospital bedside, as his legs continued to ooze blood days after the incident. She may have succeeded in her endeavor, even though the culprit hasn't been identified, because plenty of people will be hesitant to even go back into the water after seeing this. Sam, however, is undeterred. "Plenty of people go for a swim in there, so it's probably just a one-off thing," he said, adding that the incident won't keep him out of the water.